What was the Bahrain Peace to Prosperity workshop?
So over 300 leaders met in Manama, Bahrain, June 25th and 26th to talk about what's known as the Peace to Prosperity Economic Plan. We called this a workshop because it was really an opportunity for the participants to interact and to give their ideas about potential projects that could be implemented for the benefit of the Palestinians, for the benefit of the region, once there is a political agreement. Over $50 billion in potential projects were discussed, and financing was also discussed for those projects. And there was a lot of interest in the ideas that were discussed at this workshop.
Do you think the workshop was successful?
Absolutely. We think it was a very successful event. What it did was it started a conversation about the potential that peace would bring and the benefits that peace would bring to the region. There was very high-level participation in the conference, which really highlighted what we think was the overwhelming desire for peace that you see in the region. I think we can all agree that this region, this part of the world, has waited too long for a real meaningful peace between all the countries in the region.
But how was the workshop successful if the Palestinian Authority and the Israeli government didn't send delegations?
Well, it's important to understand that this event was not supposed to be a platform for discussing a political agreement between the two parties. The objective of the workshop was to show what is possible, what peace would make possible, including all of the economic growth and regional economic integration that would result from peace. As I said, the feedback was overwhelmingly positive, and we strongly encourage the Palestinian people, who would be the main beneficiaries of this, to look very closely at this plan and think about what it would mean for them.
What are some of the projects in the plan?
Well, there are over 200 projects in the plan that would be implemented over a 10-year period. The total amount of the projects is about $53 billion, and $28 billion, or more or less half of that, would be allocated for projects in Gaza and the West Bank. These projects would be in the most promising sectors in the Palestinian economy that were identified by the experts: the tourism sector, the manufacturing sector, agriculture, housing. And implementing these projects would double the GDP for Palestinians. It would create 1 million jobs for Palestinians, cutting unemployment, and most importantly, reducing poverty, cutting poverty rate in half, we estimated, for the Palestinian people.
What does the plan mean for Egypt?
There are about $9 billion worth of projects that have been identified for Egypt. As part of the plan, these projects would promote regional integration and exchange and trade between Egypt and its neighboring countries. There are power projects, port expansion projects, other infrastructure projects, support for investment incentives such as the Egyptian-American Enterprise Fund, which is already operating here and has been very successful in supporting Egyptian businesses. There's support for a regional natural gas hub, which is, again, one of Egypt's aspirations to be a regional natural gas hub for trading and energy for the region. Implementing these projects would create jobs for Egyptians, it would boost exports, and it would be a major contribution to the Egyptian as well as to the regional economy. And similarly, there are projects in Jordan and Lebanon that would promote regional integration and economic growth in the region.
You know, we heard that part of the plan is to give away parts of Egypt.
If you heard that, that's absolutely not true. I mean, I've heard that story as well, but I can assure you that territorial transfer is absolutely not part of the plan in any way. There's no idea to move territory from one country to another country as part of a peace plan. And Egypt's territory, Egypt's sovereign territory, would of course remain Egypt's sovereign territory.
Why didn't the Bahrain workshop address a political solution between Israel and the Palestinians?
The point of the workshop was to show the potentials that peace could bring to the region, the benefits that peace could bring to the region. Of course, we understand that any resolution of the conflict is going to need to be based on a political agreement, a political resolution, a political solution that recognizes the aspirations of Palestinians and Israelis. The economic vision that was described there is part of this, but it will not be implemented until there is a final political resolution.
You know, a lot of people say this plan is just a bribe for the Palestinians.
I can assure you that it's not a bribe. There's no bribe for the Palestinians. The core, our goal, our objective in all of this process is to support a political resolution between Israel and the Palestinians, a political final resolution of their conflict. As part of that, both parties are going to have to make difficult trade-offs. And the idea of this was to show what those trade-offs, what making those trade-offs would bring, what benefits it had the potential to bring by bringing peace to the region. So it laid out a vision of the future that would follow a political resolution, and none of these projects could be implemented without a political resolution.
Why wasn't the Palestinian Authority involved in the Bahrain workshop?
Unfortunately, the Palestinians decided not to attend. Their leadership decided not to attend. This, we think, was a strategic error. It was a very short-sighted decision, and it only harmed the interests of the Palestinian people. We really hope and expect the Palestinian leadership will engage in this process so that there can be a constructive exchange of views, and our door remains open to the Palestinian Authority, the Palestinian people, the Palestinian leadership.
So what are the next steps?
This is part of a process. This is one step in the process, perhaps the first step in the process, a process that leads to a political resolution. President Trump is deciding right now when to release the political plan. And at the same time, our team, our big team in Washington that's working on this, led by Jared Kushner and Jason Greenblatt, are compiling the feedback from the Bahrain conference and refining the plan, refining their ideas. And I think you'll see a lot more about this in the next few weeks.